for listening to us. We were introduced by this man in 2005 at Farm Aid, one of the great honors of all of our lives. And simply put, it's a pleasure to return the favor and introduce to you the next President of the United States.
Suggested I didn't have them on my iPod. That is not true. That is not true. Love Wilco. Been loving Wilco. And I love Chicago. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right, everybody have a seat. I'm gonna talk for a second. How was the show? It's good to be back home. It is good to be back home, and you know I've been traveling a lot lately. I don't know if you guys know this. I've been to 49 states now. I have not gone to Alaska yet, but I hope to get there as President of the United States. People have asked me, in this remarkable journey that you've been taking over the last 17 months, what are your impressions of America? And I've told them, number one, it's really big. And it's spectacular. I think we forget what an amazing country we have until you have a chance to go from state to state, and you realize that this is as beautiful a piece of real estate as there is, and it reminds us of why we have to be such good stewards of this land, because what we've inherited is something that we've got to pass on to the next generation. The second thing that you realize is how wonderful the American people are. I know that sounds like a cliche, but trust me, because I've shaken thousands of hands and had thousands of conversations and sat in VFW halls and diners and people's living rooms, just hearing their stories. And what you learn is that whether people are poor or well-to-do, whether they're in the south side of Chicago or barrios in South Texas or the suburbs outside of Pittsburgh, there are a common set of values and ideals that the American people share. And they're decent, and they're generous, and they're hardworking, and they believe that everybody should get a fair shake, that they should be able to make it if they try, that everybody, is going to fall on hard times once in a while, and so if they get sick, they shouldn't be bankrupt, and if they've got the grades, they should be able to go to college even if they're not rich. They're a lot more tolerant of differences than, I think sometimes Americans are given credit for. Most people aren't shouting at each other all the time about, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. They generally are tolerant of different points of view. Most of all, exactly. My point exactly. Most of all, what we share as Americans is this belief that the next generation should have a life that's a little bit better than ours. That all this hard work and all this sacrifice that previous generations made so that we could have the lives that we have is passed on, and that we have those same obligations to our children and our grandchildren. And not just our own children and grandchildren, but this country's children and grandchildren. And they should have a country that's more unified and more prosperous and more fair and more equal and more just than the one that we inherited, because that's the American way, that's the essence of the American dream. And it's on behalf of those values that you're here tonight, and on behalf of those values that I decided to run for President of the United States of America.